Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Guitar Souls podcast. This is episode number 102, and I am one of your hosts, Mr. Levi Clay. I am here with my good friend, Mr. Mike McLaughlin. How's it going, bud?
Things are looking up, brother. Things are looking up. I now have been offered a permanent, full-time job. And not just a shitty one that I'm actually interested in, one that I spent the best part of 3 days doing the application for. So that's really good. For everybody listening, thank you for your support, first of all. Thank you for even caring. And if you're interested, I'm going to be a therapeutic support worker. So maybe this podcast has been some sort of training by accident for the role. No, it kind of leads into, I did community education at university when I was younger, and I've always really gravitated towards roles that were helping people.
Sure.
So I thought, why not give it a stab? And got the job, got really good feedback. So hopefully I start in the next 45 weeks once I've had all my training and stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited about it.
That's great. And I should clarify, you said 4 to 5 weeks, not 45 weeks. I'll start in the next 45.
Yeah, I'll start next year. No, I need to wait in the PVG coming back, which is like the background check, a disclosure.
Yeah.
And then to do some e-learning and a couple of training courses, crisis management, etc. So
it's good.
Should be good. Should be good. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mike helping people. I like that. I enjoy that a lot.
It's what I do best, really. I mean, I'm not good at it, but I do it because I want to.
You're passionate.
So that's why I'm best. Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Yeah. Same shit, different day for me. Working on the book. Well, actually, really beating myself up with this book because I wrote as much of it as fast as possible. Fast as humanly possible. I got like 8 chapters out in 6 days or something like that. And my work process is I want to get things out as fast as possible. I want to just give you a basic idea of how things go, and then I will go back and start fleshing bits out and seeing if I like the flow of things, etc. Working out what doesn't need to be there and what's missing and all that stuff. I see it's kind
just
of like
writing a book, like any other book. You write the skeleton and then you start going into the details.
Exactly.
Yep.
But when I went back to and was working on chapter 2, sorting chapter 2 out and kind of finalizing it, I was like, who wrote this absolute nonsense, this absolute pish? This is embarrassing. This is outrageously bad. So questioning my own abilities when I did that, it was definitely shook me to my very foundations. But no, other than that, I've not been doing all that much transcribing. A little project with Gus G on the horizon. I did one little thing for him, and we'll be doing his album at some point. But it's still the same logic of I don't have the time right now to be doing transcriptions for people. I need to be doing finishing a book because I've got to write some stuff. Also been doing thumbnails for those people that have been watching, of course, and are watching now the YouTube videos. You will notice that there will be a nice thumbnail, an even nicer thumbnail for the Guitar Souls shows. And it turns out Melissa's quite good at making thumbnails as well. So when she's been here, we have been going through all of my videos and just redoing all of the thumbnails for them, so they're catchy, so they
That's
grab
good.
people's
attention. I saw the Sean Lane one.
Yeah.
From the whatever the DVD is.
Yeah, from the Sneaky Pete's bootleg.
That's the one.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like I'm kind of kicking myself for just being a little bit lax with that over the years, just having thumbnails that aren't even nearly good enough.
But I don't think it really mattered until the last year or so when everybody started on the clickbait titles and really over the top, flashy. And then text every video.
Yeah, well, I would agree with you to a degree. Like you are right about that, but also at the same time, 5 or 6 years ago, it's still the same idea. People are going to be scrolling past videos, and you want to grab their attention, not necessarily with the title, but you do need if the guy with his video next to yours is more appealing visually than yours, then the way I see it is they're going to see the thumbnail and read the title. So. Unless you can get them to read that title, they ain't clicking on the video. So the thumbnail absolutely matters. So I'm trying to put more effort into that. And I should also extend a debt of gratitude again, of course, to Mr. Chris Locke. Thank you very much for your support, Chris.
That's just blew my mind. Yeah. Still 2 weeks on.
Yeah, the reason I've been able to sit down and start making these thumbnails and start making improved thumbnails for the Guitar Soul stuff is because essentially I use Canva.com for making thumbnails and things. And I've been
used to use Canva for doing adverts at Magnum. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
Canva's really good, and I've been using it for years. The Canva free. But I've just upgraded to Canva Pro to give it a go, and it's exceptional. It is exceptional, the Pro version of Canva. So yeah, and we wouldn't be able to do that unless there was some money to allow that. So it was through Chris's very, very generous donations over on Buy Me a Coffee that have allowed us to do that. So thank you one more time, Chris, for your love, kindness, and support. For anybody else watching, we are of course on buymeacoffee.com now. There'll be a link in the description. You can head on over there. And Mike made this point at the end of the podcast last week. I should make it now. When you head on over there, you have the option to either sign up as a Guitar Souls VIP, as like a subscription for $5, or alternatively, you can just send us a one-time donation. You can buy us a beer, as I've put it on there. And both of those things are very much appreciated. We will be recording a bonus show. Chris Locke has, of course, decided what that show is going to be. We will be doing a learning experience. Mike is going to be teaching me a horrendous death metal lick. I will be teaching Mike a gloriously complicated country finger twister lick, and we are going to learn those things and talk about the struggles of doing so and have some fun with that. Don't worry, it won't just be an hour of us sat learning things. We'll cut most of the learning experience, but we'll certainly talk. It's going to be fun. We'll try it out. It wasn't what I thought people were going to want. I thought we were going to end up doing album clubs and things like that, but Chris was so generous. I said, mate, you've been so generous this last month, so if you want to let us know what you want us to do, please do. And that was the first thing he said. So I was like, sure.
Which is cool. I like it. I can imagine it being like you and I sitting for maybe an hour or two, cut down to 8 minutes of just the two of us swearing, just cuts of swearing till maybe the last minute of each of us being able to play part of the lick.
Yeah.
Certainly, at least I'm going to pick the worst riffs that I can think of.
Yeah.
Just to upset you. And the good thing is all the party cannon stuff's already tabbed out, so I just need to send you the Guitar Pro and we can have a laugh with it.
Yeah. Yeah, you should. I mean, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to see these things and I'm just immediately going to be like, nope. I mean, I'll sit here and I'll give it a go, but I can assure you this is not happening. But
we'll make it work.
Fine. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And I do enjoy learning about stuff like that. I am the jack of all trades. I like learning all things. So, and it is a glaring, gaping hole in my knowledge in terms of like how that brutal death metal thing works, how it's played and stuff. So, it's going to be fun looking into it. I'm looking forward to that. So, head on over to buyusacoffee.com, link in the description, buyusacoffee.com/Guitar Souls if you would like to support the show. It is all very much appreciated.
Teespring's still there as well.
Teespring is still there. Yep. That is.
Should you choose to buy yourself a mug, a sticker, a t-shirt, or someone else. As Levi was saying, we haven't had a lot of interaction on that, but that's fair enough. Don't expect them to do anything. We just thought it'd be better for us to give back and asking for your support.
Yeah.
But I've been kind of blown away at how little the t-shirts did and then just how generous people have been with everything else.
Yeah.
But big thank you. Really appreciate it. And if you can think of anything else that we could do that incentivizes you to support us, let us know, please.
Yeah. Pressure's off now, though, of course, because Mike has a job. In the back of our minds, there was very definitely this idea of, I love your smile there. There was very definitely this idea of, well, we don't know how long it's going to be before Mike can get a job, so it'd be nice if we could inject some money into the podcast so I can inject some money into Mike's pocket.
But we can do even better now. It just means we've got more money to pay for advertising, to do whatever else we want to do, really. Extra hosting.
Yeah, I go the kind of the grassroots approach when it comes to advertising. I think that I desperately want anybody listening to this show to tell people about the show. That to me is the best way of advertising. But of course, actually spending money on advertising is not the worst thing. It's just not an area that I'm massively experienced or confident in. But it's probably something I should talk to someone about because getting the show out to more people would be good. We might be able to attract more sponsors. Speaking of which, did you know? This show is brought to you by Ormsby Guitars. If you want to see something beautiful, head on over to Ormsby's Instagram page right now and see what they are all about. Ormsby Guitars have been at the cutting edge of guitar design innovation since Perry started the company way back in 2003. Since then, the brand has gone on to be one of the #1 brands associated with Australia and modern guitar design. Aside from having one of the most ridiculous custom shops in the market today and a dedicated team that can essentially build you anything that your heart desires, more recently the brand has gained critical acclaim for their runs of custom order guitars manufactured in Korea, shipped to Australia and then sent out through their distributor network. These guitars include incredible designs such as the Hype and the Goliath. If you head on over to Ormsby's website right now and check out the pre-order section, you can pre-order a Goliath Run 14 guitar now for under $1,200. That's an incredible price and an amazing amount of guitar for your money. So as always, a huge thank you to our friends and family over at Ormsby Guitars. You guys absolutely rock. I mentioned on the show last week that they have some new stuff launching soon. They posted an image of some of this stuff on the header for their Facebook group. So if you want more information, do go and check that out. I did see some shop posted one of them for sale on Reverb, despite the fact they don't have these guitars in stock and the guitars haven't even been announced. So someone out there was very naughty. We can't even tell you what these things are. You can go and find out what they are, but we can't tell you what they are, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but that's good. As I said, I want one, so I'm sure I'll have one.
Well, the first comment that I made in our chat with Perry is, I got a new job, I can buy a new guitar soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of shot myself in the foot in the front of buying new guitars because I reached out to Hybrid Guitars to see if I could come to some sort of deal with them, because I need one in my life as fast as humanly possible. I'm sure it won't happen, but the last thing I need to be doing is buying new guitars, because big financial responsibility of having a house and having to support people. But I'm allowed to make bad financial decisions. That's the joy of being an adult.
You're allowed to do it now that I've got a job. You don't have to financially support me like your big baby.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be plenty of people that need my help over the coming months, and that's fine. That's what friends do for each other, right?
I've been thinking a lot recently, and it was you that said that family are the people you choose to be around, and that resonates to me.
I feel that you missed the you said family are the people you choose to be around. Friends are the family you choose to be around.
Sorry. Right, yeah, there you go.
Family for me are the people that I choose to not be around. That's what.
You knew what I meant, you
I know.
pedantic wank.
So massive thank you to our friends over at Ormsby Guitars, and also, of course, that special thanks to Daniel over at Dead World Audio. Please do go and check out the Duality, Duality DX. His work is immaculate. It's an immaculate pedal. I am trying to pull my finger out and get a video recorded demonstrating how great this pedal is. I saw that Ola was demoing it again just recently, doing a boost pedal shootout, and it's a great option. It really is just a great option, and it's strange to me when you think about things. Every pedal company starts out small, as an individual. You think of Robert Keeley doing the Keeley Electronics, or Mike over at Analog Man, or Brian Wampler. Originally, this is just one person doing their thing, and now they turn into the empire that they turn into. And with Daniel's designs, there is no doubt in my mind that 5 years from now, the Deadbolt Audio stuff will be kind of household name on the guitar scene, because it's that good. It really is just that good. His stuff is that good. He cares that much about the things that he's working on. His ideas aren't just, see what those guys are doing over there, I'm just going to copy that and then put my own image on the pedal.
Nope.
Not interested.
I think he's... I don't think he sleeps. I don't think he has any time for anything other than just constantly working. He's mad.
Yeah.
But big shout out. Thanks, Daniel, for being such a good guy.
Yeah,
we love
absolutely. So, shall we start the show by just having a little bit of fun and talking about the April Fools for the year?
Yes.
Love a bit of the old April Fools. Absolutely love.
There's quite a few good ones.
There were a few good ones this year. What was your personal favourite?
You know what? I'm going to go in with it, and I know you're the same. It was the Strandberg.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just perfect. The ukulele, so fucking... Was it the Madeira ukulele, wasn't it?
With Per Nilsson playing this ridiculous little Strandberg fan fret ukulele.
For over 10 years now, Strandberg has been pushing the envelope for the electric guitar, presenting the Strandberg Madeira, the world's first headless fan fret ukulele.
I think the thing that got me best though was just how, like, it's so stupid. The actual video itself has like really awkward pauses and quiet bits where they're just looking at the camera and stuff. It's just really, really well done.
Yeah. It's a timeless. That will be a timeless April Fool's that everybody should always remember. And again, I think it showcases Ola Strandberg in the light that he should be seen in. I really like Ola Strandberg. I like the stuff that he designs. I like his ethos when it comes to guitar design and why he does the things that he does. It's not just for the sake of doing something different. Like, he's doing things that, as an engineer, because he's not a guitar player, from an engineering perspective, he is trying to re-engineer guitar playing and, well, guitars as an instrument from the perspective of somebody that doesn't play one, but from a, like, how would I design a guitar if I was looking to design the perfect instrument from, but, you know, not taking influence from the things that have existed. If someone creative was there at day one, what would they come up with? And I do like his stuff. So and he has a sense of humor as well, evidently. So nice guy, and big fan of the stuff that those guys are doing over there. And well done, sir. We would like to give you our Guitar Souls award for April Fools of the Year. Not because it fooled anyone, because I think that's the difficult thing, isn't it? Like, to me, there are two categories for an April Fool's. There is one that actually fools people, and then there are ones that are just so funny that they deserve an award. I'm much more interested in the ones that are obviously an April Fool, but a lot of effort has gone into. So, okay, seeing as you did the Strandberg one, I'm going to have to go with... I'm not sure if this was posted by Fender or if this was posted by Lefty Frets. I'm leaning towards it being the Lefty Frets route now. But yeah, Lefty Frets posted, available now at leftyfrets.com, which it could have been done in tandem with Fender. But anyway, Fender Equality Series. The Fender Equality Series of guitars. Left-handed, right-handed. So this was a series of photoshops of Fender guitars, you know, Stratocasters, Telecasters, some bass guitars. There's a Jazzman, there's a P bass, and a Jaguar in the middle. Jaguar? Mustang? I don't know. Who knows the difference between those two things?
Don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a new one. It's a new model.
Yeah.
Because it's not the right shape of anything.
Fair point. And they're just mirrored versions of the guitars. Now, on its own, I wouldn't find this that funny until you look at the headstocks of all of these guitars. So they've got these perfectly mirrored bodies for these guitars. And then the headstocks, they've just like awkwardly shoved the tuners on the other side of the guitar. And to me, that I thought that was quite funny. Definitely chuckled. I also saw that Guitar posted what did they call it? The John Mayer.
The Sunset Sky?
The Sunset Sky, maybe?
Yeah, it is the Sunset Sky, because I've got it up here.
Yeah.
Like my Silver Sky, but more spanky.
Yeah, so this is John Mayer holding up the Telecaster version of his PRS guitar.
Credit's due, it's a fairly good Photoshop.
Yeah, it is. So much so that I assumed it was PRS that had done it, and the more I looked around, the more I saw that everybody was linking back to Guitar's page. So good effort on that one, guys. It definitely made me chuckle, and I wouldn't be surprised. I should have checked into this, but I'm sure this is the sort of thing that John Mayer would absolutely be on board with. Would be fine sharing, and you know, because this is funny. Like, I don't think he hides away from how silly the Silver Sky as an idea was. He knew what people thought. Everybody knew what that guitar was when it came out, but they just avoided saying it.
I don't think John Mayer's ever shied away from anything that doesn't just show him in quite a good light. I mean, there's a video for years ago, I think it might be SNL or something, and he's playing maybe even Madison Square Gardens, but he's kicking about in public wearing a big mascot suit, asking people if they're there for the gig and if they're excited and stuff, and getting all these reactions and just being like, why, you shit, and just like totally winding people up in the street, and then like taking the suit off, and people are freaking out, and there's a couple of people that don't even know who he is. So good, man. And he's in. There's not a Dave Chappelle sketch with him as well, actually, the fight music one.
That rings a bell.
They're in a restaurant and he starts playing guitar, and all of a sudden everybody starts rioting.
Yeah, I do have time for John Mayer. I'm not massively fond of his music, but I totally have respect for what he does, and anybody that shits on him as a guitar player, just they don't know what they're talking about. They simply don't. He is a very, very good guitar player. He might not be to your taste, but let's not confuse him with somebody who cannot play the guitar but happens to pose with one. Like, he absolutely can play that guitar like a motherfucker. Well, you know, he's not busting out Pat Martino licks or anything like that. But what he does, you know, the things that he picks up the guitar to do, he is flawless at.
There was a video of him playing some of Becker Altitudes a few years ago.
Was there?
And Yep, I remember that
Okay.
it was one of the first times I've ever seen people doing like a kind of tribute / crowdfund for Jason. And then there was a video of John talking for about 6 minutes and then playing some altitudes.
Right. Okay.
So I think he's got some chops, that just stuff that he doesn't really necessarily lean into.
yeah, I buy it. Like, yeah, again,
Right.
I wouldn't doubt that because he's a good player. He is a good player. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I do have respect for him. I'm not massively popular. Not popular. That's not the word I'm looking for. Not massively fond on his music, but yeah, all the respect in the world for the guy. So
I love the album Continuum. I think I don't know any of his other albums, quite honestly, but I've never needed anything more than that. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for an album to try and get into John Mayer on, that's a belter. Really, really good songs, all of them.
I love the angle that you went with there. Is if you're looking for an album to get you into John Mayer, the one that I listened to that I really liked but didn't get me into John Mayer.
No, I did get me into John Mayer because I listen to it at least once
Sure.
a week.
Yeah.
I've just never needed to go any further.
Yeah.
And I have listened to like random songs and whatever here and there, but Continuum's just tune after tune after tune after tune. It's got sad, it's got happy, it's got a bit of anger, it's got tension, it's got cracking guitar tone, it's got great drum sound, it's got beautiful vocals. Like, it's just all round, it's a belter.
Okay, let's move on then. And oh no, what am I talking about? We had fan mail. I don't know why I just segued straight into the April Fool's stuff. Well, because April Fool's is funny, I guess. We had a little bit of fan mail sent in. Of course, we get lots of fan mail sent in to our fan mail email address, GsolesFanMail@gmail.com. Please do send us some in. We had so many things that we wanted to talk about today that we didn't dig too deep into fan mail, but of course your fan mail is appreciated. Please do send some over and we will happily read it out on the show. So get that on. We just had one little bit of fan mail from Lee Stevens. So do you have that to hand, Mike? Are you able to?
I do have it
read
right
through
in front of me. Big shout to you, Lee. I know that you were here participating and drinking along with us on the 100th episode, and I'm sure that's part of the email.
Yeah.
Seems to tune in every time and always seems to have a beer in hand and a good bit of banter to go with it. It's nice. I like it. Contributing to the community. I love it. I'll read this just now then. So, lads, so right now I'm currently rubbered. Fucking called it.
Yeah.
Lads, so right now I'm currently rubbered. I'm still listening to the live show, episode 100, boys. We made it. And here's to many more. Fuck knows Chris has gave you no excuse not to. Haha. And that's very true. If Chris had his way, I think I would still be live streaming. I've posted it in comments in the videos and probably will tonight as well, because you know me, I'm mad for seeing you gents do well. You lads, whether you know it or not, and whether they say it or not, have sorted a lot of people out. Proof's in the pudding. It may be your openness or vulnerability to show people that there is help, there is a place for us, we can reach out to even you, means the world to someone who slowly overcame it. Keep it up, lads. You've answered hard questions honestly. You've had integrity and shown how you can keep it even when it's difficult. Much love to you, lads. And just because I know I'm wrecked, I know I'll have the absolute fear and work tomorrow, I've had a picture of me photoshopped into a picture of the way my cat Barry sleeps into the creation of man. I love you, lads. All the best. The Crimson Creeper, Lee.
This is doubly
very
funny
much,
to
Lee.
me because he was evidently so drunk that he actually forgot to send that image. And then he fired a follow-up email with the image attached to it in a like, oh no, damn it, I forgot the actual reason that I sent you an email. So that is on screen. Please do enjoy, everybody.
Some boy.
Yeah, Lee, thank you very much for your support, bud. It does mean a lot.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, and for
I'm
anybody,
looking forward to...
Go on.
Sorry, on you go.
I was just going to say,
Nothing.
for anyone that like long-time listeners of the show, we do read out fan mail from a lot of the same names over and over again. We don't take turns here. Like, if you send us something good and you want to be part of this community, you are very welcome to be a part of the community. Be as much a part of the show as you guys want to be. Because when I was reading that, the thing that I liked that he put in there that I couldn't have put better myself is we made it. It wasn't you made it. Yeah, episode 100, boys. It's we made it because you guys are as much part of the show as we are. Couldn't
Probably
do it
more
without you.
so.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the fact that people actually were tuning in and listening, then we might have gave up. I don't know. I think you and I probably are daft
stubborn.
enough that we'd just be enough that we'd just be sitting talking to each other and ourselves.
Yeah. So was there something you were going to say there, or when I rudely interrupted you?
Not at all. I think I rudely interrupted you. I just want to say thanks very much. I was also going to explain to those who don't understand the term the absolute fear That is a Scottish terminology for when you wake up so hungover that you're paranoid something happened that you don't remember. Or just a general attributing to how you would feel after or during a really bad hangover. You've got the fear. Everything just seems to creep up on you. Certainly how I feel when I'm hungover.
Yeah.
So that was basically it.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let's just briefly, as we did John Mayer and we mentioned moving from the Strat to the PRS, let's just briefly talk about these Fenders, the ultra affordable Squire Affinity lineup.
Yes.
New Telecaster, Stratocaster, and Jazzmaster. This wasn't necessarily something I wanted to run with, but you said that you thought some of these were quite cool. So tell us a little bit about these.
So I'll just read the story. This was Guitar World reported 6 days ago, and so Fender are expanding the ultra affordable Squire Affinity lineup with an all new Telecaster, Stratocaster, and Jazzmaster models, and there's a couple of basses in there too. Fender's expanded its lineup. Sorry, I'll just skip that. Highlights from the release include a single coil-equipped Jazzmaster model, an humbucker configured Strat and Tele, and a new pack of Jaguar bass models, all arriving in a host of new finishes including Lake Placid Blue, Charcoal Frost Metallic, and Burgundy Mist. Now, I've just really seen the thumbnails of them, but these are pretty fucking cracking in my mind. So, as we scroll down, I don't know if you'll have these on screen or if people are just going to be having a look. That's cool. So there is a Burgundy Mist, which is like a kind of pink Jazzmaster one with a white pickguard, and then there's the Lake Placid Blue with the black pickguard, and that, with those big P90s, or humbuckers rather, sorry, are absolutely minted. And then you've got the Affinity Series Strat humbucker, which I think is pretty fucking cool as well. The white on black is like 80s shred out the arse.
Yeah, and before you go on with that, they have put prices on these. So that's for the...
Sorry, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, for the Jazzmaster, that's $279 or £269, which I don't know if I'd put that in the ultra affordable category, but for what it's a nice looking guitar. So yeah, I'll give you that.
I'm going to be honest, the way I see Squire these days, I think they've moved a lot away from just really going towards covering cheap budget stuff. I think they're also looking at the line of, you might be a beginner, but you could put another couple of £100 in, or even another £100 in, and get yourself something that will last.
Sure.
I know a lot of the Squire stuff, especially the vintage modern, and those kind of Fender special selector, player selector, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool models out there, and they seem to be making a lot of guitars that would work for anybody, really. Like, unless you were out really looking for something special, you're going to get something decent, as far as I can see, at least. Yeah. So the Jazzmaster.
You started talking about the Strat. The Strat is a bit more competitively priced, $249 or £239, which is not bad at all.
Not at all. Again, it comes in Olympic White, Charcoal Frost Metallic, and Burgundy Mist. Yeah. And then you've got these Telecaster Deluxe.
You're in my territory now.
This just is very Chris Shiflett in my mind. Certainly the grey one. And then you've got the traditional black on black with the big silly scratch plate, the 4 knobs, the chicken head ones. And then you've got Burgundy Mist with a white scratch plate. And again, all three of them, pretty good looking. They come in at $279 or £269.
I feel that one's a little off. How is that more expensive than the Strat one? Strat's $239, Telly's $269. The Strat's got a tremolo in it.
The Squire's got 4 knobs, and the Strat only has 2. It's also got an all maple neck. I don't know, maybe these will be the pricing differences, I don't know. So it's also a bigger slab of wood.
Yeah, but the work involved in installing and setting up a tremolo is definitely a lot more work than just, my idea with Telecasters is that they are simple guitars. Basic guitars, a shit body bolted to a shit neck. Anybody can make a Telecaster, and compared to I could make a Telecaster. No doubt in my mind I could make a Telecaster. I could not make a Strat. I couldn't. There's no hope in hell of me making a tremolo system and actually having it work. So I think the price is definitely off on that one. But
that's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. You're allowed to have that opinion. The last one that wasn't me being wide, by the way. I was just saying that's totally fair enough. It's a valid criticism.
Yeah.
The last one, the one that kind of caught my eye the most, was the Squire Affinity Series Jaguar Bass H, which It's got a 32-inch scale length. Sorry, there's a wee bit of wind there. So I think it's a slightly shortened scale length. And it comes in a variety of finishes, which has got Lake Placid Blue, Charcoal Frost Metallic, or Black. The black one looks really cool, and it's got a single humbucking pickup. So I think this kind of comes in towards, I would assume, kind of the Music Man, Sterling style sub basses.
Yeah,
I think that's what that's kind of going for, but still staying true to the Fender/Squier route.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple other ones, but it's really just finish differences. They've got
Sure.
a Hum single Strat that has like a flame top, tiger top, Sienna burst.
I mean,
I don't know if
that's
that'll-
a nice looking guitar.
It is. I don't know if that'll be a photo flame, or not. For those
definitely.
that
Definitely.
I would have thought so. For those that don't know what photo flame is, it says here it's a flamed maple top. But anyway, what you find is some Fenders before had what they called a photo flame. So they would have essentially like a sticker on the body of the flame and then lacquered over and coloured. So it looked like that was the flame of the wood, but it was a picture just with colours over the top of it. They don't look bad. They're pretty good, but they don't have any depth to them. Like, you know, where like a quilt top or a flame top, when you move it, you see the shifts and where the actual quilt is through the grain, or the flame.
It's cost effective though, isn't it? So
It is, and it looks good. I mean, you can't deny it. They are cool looking. The black burst one, which is the next one, if you press the arrow to the right, if you can see it, that's also a really nice flame top. And then the rest are just like same models but different finishes.
Yeah,
I just thought it was quite a cool wee thing to see that Fender are pouring money into the Squier side.
Sure.
And to be, as you say, they're not on the ultra affordable range, but I mean, this would be like the ideal option for like a second guitar.
Yeah. So
You know what I mean?
let's compare and contrast. So on the one hand, we've got Squier, which is Fender's cheap brand, doing some interesting guitars. And the counterpart to that, of course, is going to be Epiphone, Gibson's cheaper brand. Epiphone has teamed up with Deflock's Brendan Small for the Gibson Burstbucker loaded Ghost Horse Explorer. This is a fucking cool guitar.
There isn't really anything that Brendan Small does that I don't think is fucking cool. Even, I know, Metalocalypse and Deathclock became Rick and Morty for a while, if you know what I mean. Just the majority of the fan base just being unbelievably toxic and annoying and putting people off. But, and it is a big but, that is a fucking minted guitar. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So, following the announcement of its new made in USA casino model, Epiphone have added a fresh signature guitar to the lineup, the Brendan Small Ghost Horse Explorer. Designed in partnership with Brendan Small, the mastermind behind the animated Adult Swim series Metalocalypse and its fictional melodic death metal band Deathclock, the new electric guitar features a modified Explorer body with a deeper cutaway and boasts a mahogany build with a figured maple veneer. Now, I don't know if you've got the photos on screen just now, but this reminds me heavily of the Explorer Pros, the Gibson ones with the binding on them, which are fucking unbelievable. So this is right up there. Model also sports a mahogany neck with a slim taper profile, 24 fret ebony fingerboard, white binding and dot inlays with an Icarus spaceship at the 12th fret, and a pair of coil splittable Gibson USA Burstbucker pickups controlled by two push-pull master volume knobs and a 3-way selector switch. So you can have one split and one not. Clever. I'm guessing that, or maybe it's a out of phase switch.
Potentially.
Other features include Grover Mini Rotomatic tuners, a Floyd Rose FRT 1000 bridge and tremolo system, contoured heel joint, nickel hardware, an Icarus spaceship medallion on the back of the headstock, same as the 12th fret, and a Galacticon burst finish. That is a cool finish, to be fair.
Yeah.
So Brendan says, I'm so excited to finally put out the Ghost Horse. It's my most played guitar and so very expressive. It's just nice having another horse in the family. And it's now available for $799, which is not a silly amount of money for the specs you're getting.
That's a good price for a killer look. I'm not a big Explorer fan, but I know a lot of people are big Explorer fans. And to me, that's a cool Explorer. That really
when
is
they get
a
it
fucking
right,
cool Explorer.
They get it right. I think the when you think about Explorers, you think of James Hetfield, obviously. You could never ever get away from that. Beautiful Ken Lawrence. But I also think of, and this is one that other people might not go to, Al Pitrelli on the Megadeth DVD. So Far, So Good, So What.
Yeah.
or So Far So Good So Live, I think it's actually called, sorry. He's playing just a standard Explorer black with a white scratch plate at his knees and just fucking rocking it, man. That's a great DVD. And credit to Ali's a great player.
Yeah.
But I think I'm the same as you. Maybe it's the same as like Telecasters as well. It needs to just be right.
Yeah.
One wee thing and you're like, nah.
Sure.
But if it's right, you're like, oh, aye.
Yeah, and tremolos like Floyd Rose's on Explorers, not the go-to thing, but I think it works here. I think it looks kind of cool.
I don't think it's recessed. It looks as if it's just like a top mount.
Floating, yeah.
Yeah, so just dives only and basic tremolo.
Yeah.
But then again, you don't really need to be doing crazy pull-ups or whatever. It's not as if this is... I was going to say, it's not as if this is designed as a shred guitar, but it is. 24 frets, high output humbuckers, and a Floyd Rose. But that's cool. That's really cool.
You know, the person that's always going to pop into my mind when it comes to a guitar like this is Kendo, one of the original Guitar Souls. He loves an Explorer, and his comment on this will be exactly the same as mine. Shame about the tramp stamp on the 12th fret.
Aye.
It's already got that on the back of the headstock. I know what you're going to say. You can barely see it.
Mm-hmm. But you knowing there, it's there is enough for you.
Yeah, being on the back of the headstock is fine. I don't think it needs to be on the front of the guitar. But it's still a cool guitar. $799 as well. Yeah, not the worst. Not the worst price. Definitely not the worst price.
No, definitely not. I think that could get people in.
Yeah.
So quite an interesting one. Yeah, I haven't watched Metalocalypse in years. Actually, years. But I remember when Death Clock were touring. The first time it was all coming out, and I think it was Brian Bella was playing bass.
Right.
Plays in the Aristocrats, isn't it, Brian Bella?
Does, yeah.
And I believe it was Marco Miniman in drums. I might be totally wrong.
Sounds
Not Gene
right.
Hoglan. It was Gene Hoglan. I don't remember who was playing lead guitar alongside Brendan, but that would have been a fucking cool tour.
Yeah.
It would have been cool to watch. And as far as I know, they were using projectors to project stuff onto the stage, so it was like an actual Death Clock live show, not just necessarily Brendan in that one stage, which it also would have been fucking minted. But I never got to see them.
It doesn't appeal massively to me. Got a good segue here though for you. So you mentioned, we were talking about Explorers, and you mentioned James Hetfield of the band Metallica. Well, speaking of the band Metallica, and going in line with one of the things that we talked about on on the last episode of the show, we talked about Elton John. Elton John says he's recently recorded something with Metallica. And we mentioned Elton John on the podcast last week. I said that he might be one of my artists that I would do the Yesterday treatment with. Also worth noting, Mike, we mentioned the film Rocket Man. Rocket Man is coming to Netflix this month, so perfect opportunity for you to sit and watch it. Perfect opportunity for you to sit and watch it. Great film, highly recommended. And I've been listening to a ton more Elton John over the last couple of weeks. This is like go on.
I was just going to say I've got one Elton John song that I don't think is all that popular that I absolutely love. I Want Love.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. and the music video Walking About the House.
Yeah.
That is a cracking song. It reminds me of Robbie Williams, Strong. It's got that kind of almost rock but still pop, visceral heart in the sleeve kind of vibe.
Yeah. Elton's great. Feels wrong to call him a songwriter because he's a music writer.
Yes.
But it's not strictly true. He takes Bernie Taupin's lyrics and he'll shift them around and, cut and paste things together to make it work with the musical vision that he's got. So, it's definitely still songwriting. But regardless, even if he didn't exist without Bernie Taupin, it's still just a great songwriting duo. He's got a lot of great songs. I was going to say that, I've been struggling to find things to listen to recently when I've been going out on walks with the Neuros on. And I've been having a lot of Elton on just because, I don't know, I just keep coming back to it. And I finally broke that habit now, broke the Elton John thing by falling in love with Pat Martino again. It's been a long time since I've sat and listened to Pat Martino, and putting on Pat's records from the 70s, the album Footprints. Whew, there's some burning playing on that. So thank you, Pat Martino. You have stopped me from relentlessly listening to Elton John. Now I'm just going to relentlessly listen to Pat Martino. But anyway, sorry, let's check this story out. Elton John says he's recently recorded something with Metallica. Mike, tell me more.
So the quote is, I've just done something with Metallica. during this lockdown period, I've been working with the Gorillas and people like that. I haven't been doing any Elton stuff, but I've been doing great stuff with other people. Now, as soon as this was kind of posted and Levi and I were talking about it, I went, posted 3 days ago, it's the 4th, that would have been the 1st of April. And then I went, but there is legitimacy in it because Elton obviously played on Alice in Chains, Black Gives Way to Blue.
Yep.
And I was like, also Metallica have also done Lulu with Lou Reed, so it wouldn't be out of their grasp to work with somebody a bit different. Lady Gaga was on stage with them at one point.
Yeah. Elton did the Aussie album as well.
There's loads and loads of things. So the rest of the article goes on to say, the source points out that it is not clear what project with Metallica Elton was referring to, but earlier this year, Miley Cyrus said that her upcoming Metallica covers album will feature John playing the piano on her version of Nothing Else Matters. Earlier this year, Miley Cyrus told Capital FM, I did a Metallica cover of Nothing Else Matters featuring Elton John on piano. I've got Yo-Yo Ma, Chad Smith, so many all-stars in the band. I'm so excited about this collaboration. I mean, having Elton John and Metallica and me, I love when ingredients don't quite fit, or it seems like a concoction that no one would ever put together, and you got to have someone like the song producer Andrew Watt that will take that risk. It's quite cool.
Oh, no. What? Andrew Watt, no. Oh, dear.
What?
Okay, everything's gone downhill for me now. So Andrew Watt was the guy that produced the Aussie album, which Elton happened to be on. Andrew played guitar on the Aussie album. Andrew Watt is Post Malone's producer.
Right.
So my point is, or not my point, my observation is that Andrew Watt is clearly, he knows enough people that he's playing puppet master here, isn't he? He's just connecting people up. He's connecting people and just, resulting music that can come out from it. And as I say, I thought the Aussie album Ordinary Man was a very unremarkable album with some very unremarkable guitar playing. Why on earth Andrew Watt felt he needed to play guitar on an Aussie album when, there's Zakk Wylde at your disposal, or, any guitar player. I don't have a lot of positive things to say about Andrew Watt after that. He's shat all over my hero's legacy. So, oh no.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say your hero shat over their own legacy with Andrew's help.
I definitely wouldn't say that. Ozzy's not in a point where in his life where he's able to make any decisions for himself. Sharon's been making his decisions for him for 20 years.
Let's blame her then. Fucking shit.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'll blame her for everything.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of happens with that. I kind of want to steer this off on a story that we don't actually have listed up, and it's not actually guitar related.
Okay.
But it was just based on that idea of, we're talking about Miley Cyrus and controversy and things like that. Can kind of make this a little bit guitar related, because when that Miley Cyrus thing drops, there's definitely going to be controversy surrounding it. What's Miley Cyrus doing playing Metallica? She doesn't know who Metallica are and all that stuff. I know you're going to be a big supporter and very pro this, but how much have you been enjoying the whole Lil Nas X controversy? How glorious is this?
Oh man,
How wonderfully glorious is this?
He's just elbow dropping everybody that starts shit with him. And it was quite like, at first I was kind of taking a bit of umbrage at people, especially other celebrities, trying to take a stab at him. The one that I saw that was best, that's now been deleted actually, was Joyner Lucas,
right?
Another rapper, who I've been enjoying quite a lot of recently. Anyway, Joyner tweeted Lil Nas X saying like, man, whether you want to think about it this way or not, like, Old Town Road was like the ultimate kids bop of last year. That's what got you popular. You need to remember who your crowd is and what you're doing for them. And Lil Nas X just replied like, I literally sing about taking lean or drinking lean and adultery in that, and like the first 4 lines. Whether you choose to read the lyrics and take any understanding of them or not is up to you.
Yeah,
I'm not here to look after other people's children.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I did see a lot of people going that route, saying, yeah, but it doesn't matter if he wrote the song for adults and kids picked it up. At the end of the day, kids picked it up. And I just want to say to those people, that's not his responsibility. That's who picks the song up. That's the marketer's job. That's the label's job, right? He's the artist. All he does is creates the art, right? Then somebody else sells that art to people. It's not his responsibility to pitch his art for anybody. And also, even worse than that, like, so what if his first song was massively popular for kids? Does that mean you're pigeonholed for the rest of your career and you can only create art that appeals to that one market? No, you make art for whoever you want to make art for. And
He's making that for himself, as far as I can tell.
Exactly. So that just seemed to me like the glorious put down of the week. I've been thoroughly enjoying watching it. Actually, the thing that fucked me off more than anything was that conservative commentator that snapped at him and made a comment about you know, do you know who your dad is, or words to that
Caitlin
effect.
Bennett, shitty
Yeah.
pants. So that's
Yeah.
the girl who was kicking about with the AR in her back.
Yeah.
And it was like, come and get it, or whatever was the statement thing, wasn't it? And then it turns out she shit herself at some point.
Yeah.
And she tweeted starting off basically saying, it's been over a week since Lil Nas X has blocked me. And it's been such a great week or whatever. And Lil Nas X tweeted back, like, I can see you're still tweeting about me, die mad.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And that was when she replied, like, oh, do you ever see your dad? And then his reply was like, yep, and I'm going to fuck yours too.
Yeah.
And then they run with this story that apparently was threatening to rape the dad. That's not what happened.
Yeah, and
Fucking
more
get a
importantly, even if that was what happened there, even if that's what that is, why did that story completely miss out the racial stereotyping that she prefaced it with? You're a black
And it
man,
was her
therefore you
that-
don't know who your dad is.
Yep. You know what? I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Which is shocking on my part. But she instigated it. She
Yeah.
tweeted at him.
Yeah.
He blocked me a week ago. Like,
Yeah.
fucking grow up. All of them are great, man. I love just all these people trying to go in on them. And
Yeah.
Lil Nas is just like, nope. My favourite reply to date, though, wasn't even Lil Nas X. Somebody had photoshopped Jesus getting a lap dance off of Lil Nas X and commented like, now everybody's got a lap dance. Are we happy now?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I can only imagine the conservative Christians losing their shit.
Yeah.
But the simple fact is, right, and I'm sure you agree with me, people don't like this video because Lil Nas X is gay and because it is openly gay. That is the problem. The people who are taking offence, what age do you think they are? The people that are saying this shouldn't be marketed to my children.
I mean, in all honesty, I don't think it's limited to age. I genuinely don't think it's limited to age. I know the angle that you're going for, but it's not. It's religion and political belief, and that you will absolutely find 16-year-olds making the same arguments that you're finding 30-year-olds and 50-year-olds making, because they've been indoctrinated to that as a worldview. You know, Satan is real, and if you watch this music video, you're allowing Satan into your life, type thing.
Yeah, that's you can't argue with crazy, I suppose, when it comes to that. God is great and nothing else penetrates, blah blah blah. Like if you've got faith, I totally love that. If something makes you be a better person and gives you support and a good moral compass, brilliant. But there's a lot of people who use that as a weapon rather than a crutch,
as we're seeing here.
Yeah, and but it's not just that, like, the religious fundamentals that are going crazy on them. It's like people taking the children's angle. This is inappropriate for children and blah blah blah. This is WAP and blah blah blah. Like, when I was younger, I watched Cow and Chicken, which featured two parents that you never saw the top half of them. They used to feed their children with slingshots, frosted butts, and the guy in it, the main protagonist, was the red guy who just kicked about with his arse out and constantly made sexual innuendos.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Powerpuff Girls, which had the Amoeba Boys, which were literally just germs. Mojo Jojo, who was an evil monkey and kept people as slaves and shit. And then him, remember him?
Yeah.
The big slinky red dude with the pink fur cuffs, and he was like super homosexual, or certainly leaning towards a homosexual devil deity. And then South Park, where we actually had Satan in a romantic relationship with Saddam Hussein.
To be fair, South Park wasn't marketed to children. Children
It
watched
wasn't,
it.
but it was very, very, very prevalent. I remember getting Chef Aid on tape and it being taken off me within about 2 days because my mum and dad heard it and went, no.
Yeah. But the reason I thought this was worth bringing up, and like, it's the obvious thing to point out, it's funny how things have gone not necessarily full circle, but well, let's say how the tables have changed. These are the sorts of things that Metallica were accused of, or Slayer were accused of, or Marilyn Manson, or the satanic panic that happened because of fucking Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering.
Was it
like
PMRC, wasn't it?
Hmm?
The PMRC was the adults group, and was it the 90s that Dee Snider and
I forget the name of the group, but yeah, there is
I'm sure it's the PMRC, because I'm sure
classic.
it's in Hook and Mouth, the Megadeth song,
right?
and I'm sure it's that's what they're talking about.
There is that classic picture of Dee Snider, talking to Congress.
It is, he's having to give evidence because it's going into Congress. That's right. Parents Music Resource Centre.
Right.
It's him and Frank Zappa that give evidence, and they absolutely elbow drop anything that any of those parents could ever have came forward with. It's tremendous viewing.
For the longest time, it's something that we, the metalheads, have taken ownership of, pushing Satan onto children. But the point is, it swings and roundabouts. Someone's always going to be accused of it, and guess what? Nothing's happening. Before it was the metalheads, it was the dirty rock and roll people, and then before the dirty rock and roll people, it was the jazz music. The dirty jazz music. One of my favorite biopics is the Ray Charles one with what's his face? Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx plays. I'm sure it's Jamie Foxx in that film. Plays Ray Charles.
I've seen it.
It's really good. It's really good, and
I've no doubt it would be. I'd imagine it's probably fucking mental.
Yeah, there's a great scene in that, and I'm sure he's playing. Is he playing "I Got a Woman"? In a small
just
club.
Called Ray.
Yeah, just called Ray. It's worth a watch. Because his thing with the Ray Charles thing is that he took on board a lot of that gospel influence and started, but taking the gospel influence but applying it to the bluesy thing more and playing godly sounds but with ungodly subjects. And there's a great scene in that where he's performing in a club and people start to, try and kick off a bit of a riot about it. Like, this is satanic music. You're going against God with what you're doing here. This is disgusting, and you people shouldn't be dancing to this disgusting satanic music. This will let the devil in. This has been going on for 100 years, and I think it's legitimately embarrassing in the same way that when you see people, prophesizing the end of the world, giving you end of world dates. Like, if you believe the world is going to end soon, don't tell people the day it's going to happen, because you are going to be wrong. You are going to look silly, and then you can either fade away into obscurity or just say that you made a mistake and then predict another one and be wrong about that too. I just don't see how, with this satanic panic around music, that how people can't go, idiots were making this argument almost 100 years ago and they were idiots. We can see that they were idiots now, so maybe I shouldn't make these arguments. So Lil Nas X, you keep doing what you're doing, buddy. I like what you're doing. I like what you're doing very much.
Yep, he definitely gets the seal of endorsement for the guitar solos. Not that he needs it, man. The guy's made a fucking fortune.
Yeah.
Only thing is, I do feel sorry for him with the Nike thing. Have you seen this?
In what respect?
They did a limited number of those trainers.
Sure.
With the human blood or whatever that was meant to be in them, or blood at least. They are Nike shoes, but they weren't endorsed by Nike. They weren't so they were shoes that were bought and then customized by Lil Nas X's brand. I think they're called Disruptor or something like that.
Right.
Or Mischief. But Nike have taken umbrage to the fact that he's used Nike shoes and then sold them. I mean,
that does work within the remit of the law. Like, I can see that. Can't see that.
Totally. So I don't know what will happen with that. I mean, there was a very limited number. I think there was only 666 pairs of shoes, I believe, and they were like $1,080 each or something.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest, I would get the impression that this has been something that's been anticipated by Lil Nas X and his record label and all the other marketing team, and they're probably like, excellent, it's just yet more exposure for us. Considering the amount of money that we've made off these, we'll be able to pay that without thinking about it, or whatever the financial penalty is for settlement, if that's what comes about it. And if anything, it's just been really cheap and great further endorsement, or not endorsement, press advertisement.
Cool. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not quite guitar-y, but definitely I've enjoyed it, and I hope everybody watching the show has been enjoying it, because you have to remember that, sure, we are guitar players, but me and Mike, we're very different people in terms of not just worldview, but in terms of interests. Like, Mike is on the metal scene. I'm not really at all anymore. But we largely talk about metal on the show because it's an area that I have a good understanding of. But really, I don't want to say this is the case for you, but really for me, the name of this show is the Guitar Souls, because there's nothing that I enjoy more than people being pissed off and being able to piss people off. So this is a Guitar Soul story, if ever there was one, because it's people being pissed off because they're too stupid to realise that they don't need to be pissed off about this. It's as simple as that. There's nothing to be annoyed about here.
It's a big Johnny Scaramanga again, upsetting the mass. Is that what you're talking about, or Lil Nas?
Well, Lil Nas.
Sorry, I thought you were skipping ahead.
That is an absolutely great way to segue on to, is the guitar solo dead in the 21st century?
Answer's no.
No, of course it's not. Well,
the electric guitar was dead last year, the year before.
Yeah, that was the point. The only reason I took issue with this was when they posted this on Twitter. The tweet they went with was more electric guitars were sold in the last 12 months than in any time in history, but guitar solos have disappeared from today's hit songs. What's going on? And it's like, well, it's almost like the guitar as an instrument is capable of doing more things than just noodling out melodies. You know what I mean? And it's almost
polyphonic.
It's almost like it's actually better at doing those things. And there are not better, let's not say better. People can connect with those things more than they can it noodling.
Yes.
Yeah. So
absolutely, man. Like, guitar wankery is such an individual thing, because I know plenty of people who love guitar but don't like shredding, or like that falling down that route of technicality over musicality. Yeah.
And the idea that more guitars have been sold in the last year than in any other time in history, but guitar solos aren't everywhere, is a weird one to me, because it's like, well, yeah,
how are they related?
Like, yeah, I know some people that play the spoon. You know, they play spoons, they play cutlery. If there was a massive surge in cutlery, I wouldn't go, well, hang on a minute, why aren't there more people playing the spoon in popular music today? The things they're not related.
How many UEs were sold last year, and how many UE solos are we getting? The UEs, the electric wind instrument?
Oh, yeah. An Iwi. A Iwi.
Is that an Iwi? Okay.
Iwi.
Well, let's say Iwi then. Even though
Iwi's definitely funny.
A wee. I like, it's just stupid. It's like correlation and causation. Just because more guitars are being sold doesn't mean that instantly the market's going to be flooded with people who are playing guitar at ridiculous levels and changing what is popular music.
Yeah,
it just doesn't work that way.
And to be fair, I mean, if you go through this article, you're gonna see more examples of modern guitar players who are great. You know, we can't avoid. I was going to say like Polyphia or Memo Gardner Fernandez. The name is irrelevant. You can just look to Jam Track Central and see that the guitar is, in terms of it being played and being a popular instrument, and it being played to a high level. Like, there's still very much a scene for that, and it's hard for me to comment because I wasn't there in '78 when Van Halen kicked off, and I wasn't there at the start of the '80s when the shrapnel thing was kicking off, right? But I find it very hard to believe that anybody could genuinely try and make the case that guitar and playing the guitar well is not popular. Sure, it's not popular in terms of mainstream success, but I'm cool with that. Like, people change in terms of what they want. They want their art to be different, and art is constantly evolving. You cannot go, why is my pop song not the same as it was 50 years ago? Because people would be bored of it. Like, the main criticism that idiots like that will levy at popular music today is that it all sounds the same. Well, do you know what would really sound the same? If everybody still sounded like Led Zeppelin. It's important that we've evolved and that we move forward. And I also don't want to say that things will come full circle and we'll go back to Led Zeppelin, we'll go back to those sounds, because we won't. We'll go forward and we'll find new things and new sounds. Music is constantly evolving, and that is exciting. If you look at like the evolution from classical music and then the popularization of blues music and then jazz becoming popular, prior to recording, like jazz is one of the early forms of popular music that was recorded, jazz and blues music. But prior to that, there was like ragtime music was popular, and that was right around the cusp of recording coming about, and not a whole lot of it was recorded. Cool. It was popular for a short period of time, and then music evolved away from it. And you just, to this day, I would love to see the articles of on piano websites going, oh, it's disgusting. There are all these pop songs that feature piano, but not one of them playing ragtime. Like, that would be dumb. That'd be dumb.
Where is the harpsichord?
Yeah.
Where is the harpsichord? The harpsichord is dead.
Yeah. All over Elton John's first couple of albums, apparently. The more I listen to them, like, man, that guy loved that. Yeah, he played a lot of harpsichord.
Fair enough, man. It's a cool instrument, man. It definitely sounds unique.
Yeah, it's got a sound to it. But and same with bebop. It's like, I love bop. I love bebop in my jazz. But I'm not going to look at modern jazz and go, why aren't they playing bebop? Like, music evolves. I'm not saying the guitar solo has fallen out of relevance, but in terms of what popular music requires and the purpose of a guitar solo and what we're looking for when someone's writing a hit song now. We're not looking for that anymore. The average person that consumes music, like, don't get me wrong, I hate it. I hate the direction that music has gone in. It's more of a passive thing now. I think 20, 30 years ago, it was more of a listening experience where you would get an album, a record, and you would sit down maybe with friends and you'd read the liner notes and new album was a thing for you to go, okay, let's sit and listen to this music. Whereas now music is more, it's easily accessed for free and streamed to whatever your Bluetooth speakers that you have in your house, and you have it on when you're doing the housework, and it's not there necessarily to be paid attention to. It's there just to create some sort of background noise. Therefore you don't need something that's going to grab your attention. Sure, I still listen to all the attention grabbing stuff, but I'm not going to judge the average person for not having the same musical wants and needs that I have. Fair?
Very much so. It was like that started as a rant, but became like a do your own thing. I like that.
Because all of the stuff that I love is still there. There are still people that there are still pianists out there that play ragtime, and I don't go, yeah, but they're doing it and no one else is, so they therefore should be really popular. Like, cool, there are jazz musicians out there that are still playing bebop. Of course there are. There are rock guys out there that are still doing 80s stuff. Hell, I put out an album, the Hellcat Molly album. That's an old sounding album. And I don't just mean because it's 5 years old, but it's because, like, influence-wise, there was me showing off how much I love, like, the 80s thing. And I'm bringing in some of the heavier 90s and thrashier influences in there as well at times. But it's still, like, heart-on-the-sleeve 80s stuff because that's what I grew up on.
If you think how popular Steel Panther are, but they are just as much a parody band as they are a great bit of entertainment, they've got, like, the kind of perfect blend of... It's a new version of an old thing, but it's done in such a clever way that it's not just like dragging back something born from before. It's not a rehash.
Yeah.
It's their own take on it. And I think the comedy element really adds to that as well, actually.
Yeah.
But I think if any other band decided they were going to make a big splash, like even bigger bands, I think if Whitesnake or whatever decided they wanted to get right back into the charts, they would really struggle.
Yeah. No, of course they would. And you've got Greta Van Fleet that are doing the
Zeppelin.
They just sound like Zeppelin.
Surely that's be Zeppelin. There's a difference.
Yeah, surely you have to be able to look at that and go, okay, these guys sound like Zeppelin, and they're not topping the charts. Why is that? It's almost like people don't want that. Zeppelin fans might want that, and well, they don't actually because they whinge about them. But actually, that's
like Greta Van Fleet stuff.
Yeah, same.
But that's because I just imagine it as basically being like somebody who really, really liked Zeppelin and thought, what if Zeppelin wrote some more songs?
Yeah.
And I'm down with that.
Yeah. It's kind of like going back to the Adam Levine thing that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago where he was saying that there are no bands anymore. And it's like, well, again, it's just what the consumer wants. And I think there's this strange, like, thought that people seem to have, like the music industry is a sentient thing that decides on the things that it markets to you, the things that it creates for you. And I don't see it that way. I don't want to say that the music industry is purely a meritocracy because it's not quite that, but it's still, no matter what way you look at it, powered by the money that the consumer puts into it. And it just wouldn't matter if this strange sentient music industry thing that people seem to have this strange fear exists. If it just decided that the popular music of this year was going to be Indonesian gamelan, like, which to me is just the most horrendous sound. There's no forcing that on the public because the people just wouldn't buy it and it would collapse. You have to sell things to people that they actually take an interest in and they like. So,
I don't know as much, man. I think if they had gamelan on fucking Clyde 1 every 25 minutes and somebody's on there talking about how it's the next thing, there would be some amount of pellets listening to it. Like, this is great. Oh man, you heard this? This is better than fucking house music. I don't know.
If gamelan was being played all over Clyde 1, I would be in the Clyde. That would be me, just head first. Down I go.
Just turn the radio off. You know that?
No, suicide. Definitely good old me in the Clyde. That'll be it.
Enough.
In a world where gamelan might take over, I can't turn off all radios. You know what I mean? Like, because I can't turn off the radio when I go into a shop.
You can put your headphones on.
Yep. Yeah. I guess I could do that. But Clyde. Big plop. I'm just looking for a way out. Okay, plop.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, fair enough. We've all been there.
So Johnny Scaramanga, no, mate. Yes, the guitar solo is dead in the 21st century, but I think the key thing is, mate, you've injected a huge amount of bias into that article by implying that there might be something wrong with that. Like, it shouldn't be titled, "Is the guitar solo dead in the 21st century?" It's, has music changed in the last 50 years?
I think maybe the better way to pose the question and still keep the article fairly accurate is, why has guitar fallen out of being like the main instrument in popular music? And it's probably because synthesizers are just the thing now. Electronic music has such a massive influence, and such a massive imposition on music, certainly popular music, and there's no getting around that, because everybody and their granny can write a song in the house using a MIDI map.
Yeah, and rightfully so, because I think a lot of it's really, really fucking cool. The people that know how that electronic instrument stuff works and creating electronic music works, like, there's an art form to it. It's all well and good to say, yeah, but it's just a keyboard and like anybody can do it. Well, I can't.
It's about the composition. It's not about the performance.
Yeah.
I mean, I would kind of see the same argument. I would see value in the argument of, well, why would you pay money to go and see this person press play on their laptop versus musicians? But I think that's a really niche argument, because you need to be a musician to understand, or I think you would need to be more inclined to seeing it from that perspective, to see the value in hours of practice versus hours of putting something together.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that either one means any more or less, or is any less entertaining or valuable, but you would go to the shows for two different things. Like, if I went, for example, I've seen quite a few different dance acts and electronic artists. I went to see Deadmau5. When I went to see Deadmau5, I didn't expect him to be up on stage playing with synths and jumping in between and then looping bits. I expected a light show and everybody to have a good time.
Yeah.
And a banging sound system, which we got.
Yeah, and to be able to be in a room with and see your hero.
Well, that's a big part of it.
Might not have been your hero, but you know what I mean.
But still, I think Deadmau5 is fucking class.
Sure.
I really like his stuff.
Yeah.
He was a great entertainer, and even part of his shtick is obviously the big silly hat.
Yeah.
Big mouse head. But then the other side of the coin is I go and see Iron Maiden, and I would go to see Iron Maiden not just for the music as well, but for the show. But the show more as watching them play the instruments, fucking Eddie, just Bruce just constantly running up and down, being a psychopath. Like, it's just, they're different art forms of media and enjoyment.
Sure.
But neither is more valuable than the other.
Yeah.
And I think that article's very loaded in the favour of, obviously, was it Guitar World it came from?
It came via Total Guitar.
Via Total Guitar, and it was Ultimate Guitar, Johnny somebody that
Johnny
did it.
Scaramanga.
Johnny Scaramanga, that's right. So, if you're looking at what you consider an issue from just the perspective of being a guitarist, like that is the default position, then of course it's going to look bad. But it's not how it works in real life.
I was watching Spice Girls live in Istanbul on YouTube. So it's a good concert.
That sounds like you've went down the rabbit hole, man.
Well, I'm constantly down the rabbit. No, it's a pro shot concert.
I'm sure it'd be good. I'm just laughing at the idea of Spice Girls live in Istanbul.
Sure. It's a strange place to film a live concert. I'll give you that. But the reason I bring that up is there are moments in that where you can tell that it's track, and there are moments in that where you can tell it's live vocal. Any of the choruses, tight vocal harmonies, that's all track. And any of the solo parts, it's a live vocal type thing, unless it's Victoria Beckham, in which case it's track.
Track.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And to me, I don't have massive amounts of criticism for it, because if you go back to the 90s, like, I don't think anybody wanted to go and see the Spice Girls so they could see the Spice Girls perform. I think they wanted to go and see the Spice Girls because they wanted to be in the room with the Spice Girls. They wanted to look at the Spice Girls, this huge cultural phenomenon, and to, bathe in that moment. Like,
to witness the birth of true feminism.
Yeah.
Fuck Emmeline Pankhurst.
Yeah. So,
fuck the suffragettes, fuck the suffragists.
Yeah.
Until you've got 5 young women from different backgrounds put together by a record label and marketed en masse, powering girl power, there is no feminism.
Yeah.
Science.
Given the choice of, if I could change that Istanbul concert to have it all live vocals versus having every single vocal on there be track, but me be able to be there at the show, you bet I'm going to take that be there at the show thing, because that's just more important. Now, I'm not saying live music doesn't matter. I'm saying it depends on the medium. It depends on, and the Spice Girls, it didn't, dog just rolling around on the floor. It just doesn't, in that particular instance, it just didn't matter. So in the electronic scene, I feel it's kind of the same. Like doesn't matter. So if that's not what you're looking for, if you're looking for somebody to go and perform music, then go and look at somebody performing music. But don't criticize people that don't need to perform music in order to do the thing. Okay, couple of couple more short things. Obvert guitarist taught himself to play left-handed after car accident. This was run by Metal Sucks. It was quite an intro. Well, I was kind of excited about this when Mike posted this in the group. I thought to myself, oh, okay, cool. So the YouTube video here, this might be quite interesting. It's going to be a guy talking to us and showing us the process of why he went from playing right-handed to playing left-handed and the struggles that might have been involved with that. That would have been fantastic if you ask me. Maybe like update diaries and things like that. It's not, unfortunately. Just play through video along with a story explaining why he did what he did.
We could reach out.
Yeah. Well, we could reach out, but we're just going to get the same story that's been written up in the in the article. Oh, and this is actually fantastic because, of course, he references Pat Martino in the interview.
There you go.
Yeah, we've come full circle. Awesome. Yeah, he's just going to tell us the same story, and for me, it would have been really, really interesting if when he decided or realised this was going to be something that he was going to do, every week, if he just made a quick little 60-second clip of him, developing his left-hand playing ability and looking at the camera going, I'm never going to get this. And us being able to see that progress over time, to me, that would have been an interesting thing to watch.
I get it's a bit like watching somebody doing like a fitness journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many burpees they can do at the start versus where they let the progress as it goes on, because you don't see it so much day to day personally, but when you watch it over a longer period of time, it's when you go, oh, wait a minute, something has changed.
Yeah. All we've seen here is a guy that used to be able to play right-handed really well, and now he can play left-handed well.
And the bass player in his band is Ollie, who plays in Cryptopsy and Cattle Decapitation. Ollie's got another couple of bands, man. He's ridiculous, man. Really nice guy too. Shout out to Ollie. He's probably not listening, but that'd be nice if he was.
Yeah, and if he could, shout the show out to all of his big audience, that'd be wonderful. Thank you very much, Ollie.
Yep, thanks, mate. I just found this really interesting that somebody would go to the effort of teaching themselves to play the other way around to the same level.
Yeah.
And I think that really shows how passionate some people can be about music.
Sure.
And of course, it being a death metal band and whatever variety it needs to be just speaks volumes about how good people in death metal community are, We're all perfect. We're great virtuosos. We're all chads.
Well, we'll find out on the Guitar Souls bonus episode.
When I can't play country licks and you're riffing party can and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what's going to happen there.
So the question is, do you want the fast riffs or the slow riffs?
The slow ones. I think I've got a better chance of being able to play a slow riff than I do being able to play a fast riff.
Okay. Okay. Slow usually means 180 BPM.
Yeah, so slower. Give me the slower.
Right, slower.
Okay, so give me this. Give me the quote from this article, if you have it.
After being victim of a car accident in late December 2016, I lost my picking as a right-handed guitar player for more than 15 years. After talking with... Well, it can't be 15 years if it was December 2016. 5 years, you mean?
No. So he had been playing right-handed for 15 years.
Oh,
and after those 15 years, he lost it.
Sorry, that makes sense now. After talking with jazz guitarist Pat Martino in 2017, I bought my first left-handed guitar, and it begins there. Since I made that choice, I tried to recover and practice a lot, trying to get my picking back on my right hand in 2018. I was playing both sides every day for a while. One day I felt I was able to become left-handed and realised this is possible, so I decided to leave everything behind and start over. I left my previous band I had for more than 10 years and learned a new instrument. I practiced for 1 year alone, and then I realised I needed help. I asked noted ambidextrous guitarist Michelangelo Batio for lessons, and he accepted. Do you say Batio or Batio?
Batio.
Is it Batio? Okay, so Michelangelo Batio for lessons, and he accepted. Since then, I've taken lessons with him online or on YouTube. He is the best. He knew how to drive me, and I listened to him even if it was difficult. Since that day, I've practiced over 4 hours every day. Every day after day. after day job time. Sorry, he practiced over 4 hours every day after day job time. That was such a weird sentence there, but it makes sense now. Speaking of Scars of War, specifically the latest song, it explains that the song speaks out about perseverance. No matter the roadblock you hit through your life, everything is possible when you put in your 100%. Talking about a new life, a light at the end of the tunnel. This song was played in drop tuning in A. It's the only one on the EP where this tuning is used. My Dean KSV Black V right-handed that I switched to left-handed 2 years ago. And one other thing that I want to mention that we didn't mention at the start of this, right? So they're Quebecois, technical death metal band, so they're from Quebec, which means they're Canadian. Canadian tech death metal bands and musicians are on another level. They're just a different breed. I'm just putting it out there. Quo Vadis, fucking Arsis, Cryptopsy, and now this guy, obviously Cryptopsy's bass player, is playing in this band, but there's just something special about these guys. I don't know what it is in the water, but tech death for Canada just seems to be the best. I don't know, man. It's like, you know, different regions have got the best wines.
Yeah, no, well,
and there's got the best death metal.
In the same way that a lot of great melodic death metal comes out of Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but for the Gothenburg sound.
Sure.
Aye.
Yeah, and evidently there's I'm being told there's a scene for brutal death metal in Canada. So fair enough.
Certainly for technical death metal musicians.
Death metal. Yeah.
For definite.
Right.
For definite.
Yeah, so check the video out. This is
Yes.
Obvert guitarist taught himself to play left-handed. And maybe not necessarily from a, you know, I'm not saying go check this out, this is going to be your favourite thing, but it might be an inspirational thing to you. You know, if you're overcoming struggles in your own playing, like nothing is going to cause problems for you. Okay, let's close the show up with reporting on Gearslutz having changed their profile name. They finally changed their name. We talked about this a bunch of episodes ago. I'm not going to say I was hugely against the idea. I didn't necessarily see the point. I don't really feel that because I'm always of that context matters. Space, and unless the word slut is being used in a derogatory way, it's not a derogatory word. They have changed their name. I certainly had wondered what they were going to come up with. What they've changed it to is gearspace.com. Gearspace.com. Don't hate it. Don't hate it.
I think people being offended by it initially is kind of bewildering to me, but for the sake of changing the name, like it's such a non-issue.
Yeah.
We don't like the name. Cool, we'll change it. And then that's it, really. You know what I mean? I think that's... I get where you're coming from, that it's just a word. But I think it's maybe just a sign of the social responsibility of the people who run Gearspace, as it is now. Just wanting to try and make it as inclusive a place as possible. Maybe it's purely a business decision, I don't know. But
it's what you said there is it's like people said we don't like the name, so they said cool, we'll change it. And I just have to wonder how many people would have to say to us, we don't like your name, for us to say cool, we'll change it.
Guitar Souls? I think Guitar Souls and Gearslutz are two different things though. Because I think Guitar Souls is just implying that we are arseholes when we talk about guitars, which is fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
The inflection is not anybody else. But Gearslut says that anybody who's on that forum is in fact a Gearslut or whatever. So I think it's... I know it sounds like a really daft argument to me.
Feels like a reach.
It really is, and I'm not saying that that's a valid argument. I think that's the difference.
Because it would be easy for us to call our fans the arseholes. You know, and it would be easy for people to go, well, I like your show, but I don't like the idea that you think we're all arseholes.
They're not arseholes, they're guitar souls, and that's fine. Because a guitar soul just is somebody with a strong opinion about guitars, or something about music and guitars, so that's fine.
Sure. And a slut is somebody that enjoys a thing in a lot. I guess.
A slut's somebody that keeps an untidy bedroom.
I remember you telling me this before.
That's the actual origins of the word. And you know what? It is fairly accurate for somebody to be a gear slut, because I don't know anybody that's got a neat place with their equipment in it. Your studio being a good example.
Yeah, I'm
my
looking around.
studio being a good example.
Can confirm. My only comment on Gearspace, you know, if they launched the website as Gearspace from day one, I totally don't mind that name. Though saying that, I was on the Gear page, the forums last night, and I did very quickly think to myself, Gearspace, a gear page, they feel a bit similar to me. I don't, like I say, I don't hate the name, and if the site had launched with that, I do feel maybe they're steering into the controversy a little bit here, maybe just a little bit. And the reason I say that is because the word space in this context of having changed your name because people found your name offensive does feel a little bit safe spacey. You know what I mean?
Kinda, but I think that's another reach. I think that's you associating the fact they've used the word space with a known term if we're talking about identity politics and stuff. Maybe this is a concerted effort. Maybe they've been like, well, we can keep the name interesting on the tip of people's tongues, but without it being quite as divisive.
It's the type of thing that I'd change the name to. If somebody said, "Oh, so you don't like the Guitar Souls, you don't like our name because you find it a little bit offensive." All right,
we're the Cotton Wool Cuddle Boys.
We should be the Cotton Wool Cuddle Boys. There's a T-shirt in that. Yeah, it just feels like it could. I'm not saying it definitely won't have been the case, and it probably only me that saw this when I saw that change of name. But okay, you don't want the Gearslutz? Okay, we'll give you your gear safe space. We'll give you a safe space. Fuck it, you can have the gear space. Happy? It's not offensive. Don't get me wrong. I don't find the concept offensive. But the thing I will note is I don't know where I got this thumbnail from. I think this was posted just on the Discord server. And whoever originally took this photo had already angry reacted to it. And inevitably, there are people that are just forever going to be angry about this, in the same way that people are going to be angry about Lil Nas X. At the end of the day, when we talk about, I think we should emphasize this, right? When we talk about things like this, we're not angry about these things. We're not actually angry about these things in the slightest. You want to change your name? Cool. I'm not going to sit here and try and create a petition and tell you why you shouldn't change your name. Something for us to talk about. It's a bit of discussion. Discussion's good, but it's certainly never going to make me angry. Never. A website name should never make you angry. You need to be very select about the things that make you angry in life.
But what about the people who went to Pen Island thinking they were going to get pens?
Sorry, what?
Penisland.com. Do you not remember this when you were younger?
No.
No? Or lemonparty.org?
I remember Lemon Party, yeah.
Or goat.se?
Yeah. But Pen Island, no, I don't. What did you see? Okay, yeah, all right, I see it. I see exactly.
You didn't see it, but you get it.
I see what you mean now when you...
I'm sure Perry done a guitar that had Pen Island on the fretboard. I swear to God, years ago.
Right up my street.
I'm going to ask him. I'm going to have to.
Yeah, something offensive like that. I'm all game. So Gearslutz renamed to Gearspace. Fair play, guys. Yeah, leave them be. I wouldn't have done it myself, but I'm also not annoyed or angry about the fact that you did. And I think of all the names that you could have come up with, Gearslutz to Gearspace, yeah, cool. It's not the worst. Not the worst rebranding that I've ever seen.
Certainly.
The worst rebrand. Go on.
Mm-hmm. On you go.
I was just going to say the worst rebranding that I can think of is when McDonald's decided they were going to try and be a classy restaurant and went from gold and red to black and red, and now on the McDonald's here are black and red. You know what I mean? Like, what were they thinking?
What? When they what?
So, McDonald's is red and gold, yeah?
Yeah.
And you would walk past McDonald's on a high street, and it would be red and gold. Whereas now when you walk past a McDonald's in the UK, they're not red and gold anymore, they're black and gold. They're a dark grey. They've rebranded, they've changed their branding to a dark colour rather than the red, and they've tried to make the interiors look a little bit more restaurant-y rather than the red and gold thing looked a bit fast foody.
I get you. It's moved away from the American diner into the, just as you put it, like restaurant/fast food.
Yeah, the classy eating establishment where you can get table service.
Yep, where they only use 100% beef. That's the name of the company that they buy their fucking manually recovered meat from.
If it's not Five Guys, no thank you. And I miss Five Guys. I've not had Five Guys in over a year. Thank you very much, Captain Pandemic. We could do over Five Guys. So I think that's all we have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Gearspace have changed their name. to Gearspace. That's cool. Lots of things we talked about. Lil Nas X. We talked about Lil Nas X. That's offensive. Let's talk about something not so offensive. Did you know? This show has been brought to you by our friends over at Ormsby Guitars. If you have the time, please do head on over and follow them on Instagram to see more of their incredible work. I'm actually spending more and more of my time each day scrolling through Instagram and really getting the appeal of looking at incredible instruments like this. It just makes you want to order something really, really special. Of course, you can always contact them if you want to order a custom shop guitar, or head on over to their website, check out the pre-order section and get involved on the upcoming Goliath Run 14. Again, one of these guitars can be pre-ordered for as little as $1,200 US. That's an incredible price. That's a lot of guitar for very little money. So if you want something like this in your life, head on over to ormsbyguitars.com and get involved. Thanks so much to Ormsby, and we'll see you for another show soon. Laters. So as always, a huge thanks to our friends and family over at Ormsby Guitars. Please do go and check those guys out. For all we know, those new guitars that I can't talk about have been announced. I'll be fighting you guys for one. We're in the races to get one. Looking forward to those coming out. And of course, also a big thank you to Daniel over at Dead World Audio. Please do go check out Dead World Audio. Pick yourself up a Duality if you can get one. They're very in demand from what I can see. Great pedals and well worth checking out. Anything you'd like to add to that, Mike?
Make sure you've liked this video if you're watching us live. If you're not watching us live, make sure you've liked this video. Comment, subscribe, send us some fan mail. GsolesFanMail@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
There we go, I remembered. Teespring's down below. You can buy us a coffee if you want to do that. As Levi explained earlier on, you can subscribe or you can do as a one-off. That is by no means any sort of caveat as to whether you should enjoy it or not. If you are here and you want to just enjoy it for free, that's why it's on YouTube and free. We're glad you're here. If you can make it to the Monday Night Guitar Geek Club, we'll be here 9 PM British time onwards for a live premiere. Levi and I are usually in the comments chatting away. I haven't been because I've got some other personal stuff going on the last
I was
going to
say, you always say that. Usually I'm there.
I know. I want to be there every Monday, but it just doesn't seem to work for me, man. Even like the other day, I came in, it was like 15:15. I'm like, I'm in the middle of making dinner. I'm really sorry. It was just bad timing.
I'm sad. I planned my week around it. I'm like, okay, cool. Right, I can't book any lessons on Monday
I try
evening.
to do that.
I've got to be here.
Never works.
No social engagements. No spending time with loved ones. I'm going to be sat in my studio. Actually, last week.
Spending time with loved ones.
Well, okay, yeah.
At the Guitar Geek Club.
Technically, I'm spending time with loved ones. I did it different last week. Actually, last week, normally I'm sat here and I'm transcribing and doing the live show thing. But last week I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit at my piano. I'm going to put the guitar solos on the iPad, and I'm going to spend an hour and a half working on my left hand, and that was good. So, and I thought I'd mention that just for that one guy out there that's annoyed that I'm turning this into the piano arseholes show. I still play piano. # deal with it, Mike. Until next time.
Stay hydrated.